according to my research, and again, no conspiracy theory, just using their own arguments, their own communication forms to understand them. K-words, occult cut-ups, psychology, subtle communication like charades, linguistics, etymology, gospel, ghost spell, magic spells, quote-unquote spells, spelling. We can understand who the elite are. The elite are basically sexual sadists, scientific racists with a special emphasis on the social sciences, psychology, sociology, psychiatry to understand people and manipulate them. Right? Coercive power, abusing, organized rape by deception kind of cultural controllers, social engineers. They're globalists, okay? Think of the gentlemen's clubs, the fraternities, the Sons of Malta, the Odd Fellows, the Freemasons, the Shriners, the Rosicrucians, on and on and on, okay? The Eastern Star and so on, as kind of a big mixing kind of an a chemical mixture of what the elite are. They often see themselves as having alter egos, right? Business first, and they switch into a different personality, their pleasure personality, their sexual and moral, their business. This is the main emphasis, okay? We look at the Project for the New American Century. We look at their pamphlets, their own publications. We look at the newspapers, the journals, the periodicals. It's clear that the people we're dealing with are social engineering, sexual sadists, okay, who intend to make the world an evil place. They have made it an evil place. And if I was in charge, you'd see moral precision, focus, moral intensity being what people use to vie for women. They use money and sexual immorality, peer pressure, coercion instead, okay? So let's look at some wordplay real quickly. At one point, Bush ran against Kerry. They're both in skull and bonesmen. And this has everything to do with why it's logical to assume that the elections are rigged. Okay, now let's look at Vietnam. What led up to Vietnam? World War II, 1939, 1945, right? Who was in power, right? Roosevelt, then Truman. It goes Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy. Okay, so during the 50s, it was Truman and Eisenhower, big time. Okay, true man. What is the true man to them? Eisenhower, eyes in how ear, right? Who you're listening to. What happens next is Kennedy and the 60s and his assassination, the mafia, and so on and so forth. Eventually they cracked down on the mafia. The sexual revolution is said to be from 1960s to 1980s, but it's actually still going on. We look at people today, how they're behaving compared to the sexual revolution, the occult revivals of the 60s. We see that that's what's going on. It's the occult. It's the sexual revolution. It's the left wing. They're liberal, progressive eugenicists with the Enlightenment principles and philosophies that founded this country. And on record, the Enlightenment spread in coffee houses and Masonic lodges through the fraternities. Okay, the sexual revolution, sexual immorality, sexual sadism, business, making a killing. Okay, all the rape that goes on, the fraternities, the Greek societies in colleges that rape, the high rate rape in colleges. It was Yale where they said yes means, no means yes and yes means anal. They're gender neutral-ish fraternities, social engineer guys. They have aspects of the right and the left, but they really just put out different ideas and confusion, and then when the smoke clears, they have their way, they have their president, they have their agenda. This is just the greater fraternity manipulation that's expected when there's millions and millions of rich and managerial people in fraternities that work together to maintain their family lines and their cultural control. The people in charge are scientific racists, sexual sadists, best described as liberal progressive eugenicists, and a lot of them take on conservative roles in society. But what are conservatives? Are people that know that they're wrong, just like liberals. They're just doing what they think is in their best interest. The politicians are like symbolic of the average party member. They're the representative of the average party member's aspirations. They're not moral. They just care about self-indulgence and their self-interest. And even when they think of themselves as part of a group that they're trying to stick up for or something, it's how they feel about it. Not because it's moral. We can quickly show that their logic is not moral logic. It's selfish logic. It's self-indulgent. It's hedonistic. It's narcissistic. It's, oh, make me feel good, make me feel included type of bitch.